423.
Okay, take my number and get a midnight text to call me.
10-4, go ahead.
635-7237.
10-4, 227.
Dispatch 225, D1, safety check. Dispatch to 225, B1, safety check. 225, B1, I'm 10-4. Fine, Joey. Attention 225 zone for a burglar alarm. It's going to be at Lita 411 Integrity Way. It's going to be audible indicating wing B Bravo. Dispatch units to respond. 21 Bravo from 8 Block of Great Neck. 10-4, unit to assist. Respond. We'll advise on assist at 2609.
214, Mark 19. Inquire. 214 is Spanish. Where are they coming from?
It's coming from Wing B Bravo.
10-4, you can cancel all units. I'll take care of that. I have the alarm code.
10-4, 2 copy. You can disregard. 10-4, great. 2210. Channel 7. Charles, I'm pulling up on
2210. Flash 423 Charlie. Subject, your request for detective. Are you able to call the 4th precinct?
Step one, there.
10-4 is going to be Detective Jones.
Dispatch. 628 Bravo. Has overseas power requested. 10-4, they've been advised. I'd like to call back with an ETA.
this assist officer. Was there an officer that I needed to contact? Or you guys going to contact and reference my conclusion to the case?
Stand by just one. I have a photo for Sergeant Belanger with the Michigan PD request to be contacted. Let me know when you're ready for the number.
Good.
Area code 810-422-8900.
10-4, thank you.
2214. Dispatch.
420, Charlie.
Start off right at the station.
10-4, 22.
924 Bravo status check.
Dispatch.
214.
I'm on scene at Leo.
2216.
Mike 7-214. We're in the B-wing right now. Yeah, well, I'm going to disarm the alarm and then check the building.
Okay, did y'all see that? When this hit right there and that,
We
didn't do it this
B-wing,
time.
A-wing.
Whoa. Whoa.
426 Charlie dispatch. 426 Charlie. Could you please tell me where the patient is being transported from this accident?
Watch it there. That's coming from the sun.
Several of the data into Davis channel. That's four. I'm getting that way, just a minute. 10-4. That's 17.
So the other transitions that I watched of Mercury, supposed to be Mercury on this thing, it didn't do any of this stuff that it's doing now. And this beam going all the way to the sun. Well, I don't know. There's a long meteor goes over here. I mean, it traveled a long ways. That long line. It'll come back in a minute. That one. That was a long-lasting meteor. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to take my mind off other things. So I'm staring at this.
Charles. 325 Charles. 24 at the Walmart. You can put me on that. Hey, 19. CIT alert, please. 625 Charles, 623 Charles, responding. Walmart, 40 Buffalo Boulevard, reference 824, 2219.
Hmm. Okay. You know, I was just thinking about this. Since they're doing all this changing of manhole names to man maintenance or maintenance hole and getting rid of the word manpower, and you're not allowed to say he, she, her, him, woman, man, female, male, girl, boy. So we should just call each other it. Because you can't say they, because they means plural. I mean, well, not necessarily, but when you say they, you know, you don't know if they're talking about one or more. They. Okay, so let's, from now on, absolutely use government names. Whatever your government name is, you know, say he, she, him, her, they, use their government name. Since they don't want to be gender specific, then be individually specific. Government names. I'm going to give out Social Security numbers while we're at it. So are they going to rename feminine products to they products? It products? Do we got to rename vaginas and penises? I mean, because if you talk about a vagina or a penis, you're being gender specific. So does that mean doctors, gynecologists can't be gynecologists anymore? Because that's gender specific. Proctologists can't be a proctologist anymore? Because that's gender specific. This is getting stupid. And now, so we can't call it motherhood anymore? And fatherhood? Can't be moms and dads? Because that's gender specific. Specific. I'm sorry. I'm just frustrated, stressed, depressed, and some of everything else. So I'll take my mind off that and talk about other stuff. But yeah, this gender specific thing is getting way out of control. So they're going to have to take out the woman's department in a department store for clothing. And they're just going to mix all the clothes together and say they. But what about small people? Are they going to be insulted because they're called petite? Or large people insulted because they got the size large? I mean, if we're going to be non-specific gender, which is only two things. There's male and there's female. Okay. So, since we're erasing that, then we have to erase everything else. So we all need to shave our heads so that we're not blonde, brunette, or redhead, or green hair, or no, we all just paint our hair one color. Let the transgenders pick the color, and nobody in the world has to dye their hair that color, so there isn't any. It's getting crazy. So, when a woman has a baby now, the child can't be assigned a gender. So you have to wait till the child's 3 before you can put what gender they are on the birth certificate, because then you have to ask them, and then they might want to change it later. I mean, back in the day, I never even got to see a copy of my real birth certificate with my real birth parents. But now you can change your birth certificate to say where you were born as, or it's not going to be allowed to be put on there anymore, and women not going to be allowed to have ultrasound to see what the sex of the baby's going to be, or is it going to be so where they can find out and say, oh no, I'm not going to have it because it's going to be a boy and I don't want a boy, or it's going to be a girl and I don't want a girl, and then they get an abortion and find out the ultrasound was wrong because, Anyway. So some female mother, going to get sued because she dresses her little girl in pink, and then somebody's offended by her gender specifying her child by putting pink on the child. Like I said, I ain't against nobody. I'm not judging nobody for doing whatever they decide to do with their body. That's fine. But don't your right to be different doesn't mean that I have to change who I am, and billions of other people have to change who they are because you don't like who you are, who you were born as. That's fine. Be who you want to be. But changing the... So, yeah, we're going to have to do away with feminine products because that's gender specific. So they're going to get sued because they sell products only for female parts. No, I mean, man could use the stuff if they wanted. Man clearly could use a tampon if he wanted. I mean, you have to find other uses for it, but, you know. We do have nasal tampons. But, he could get some Vagisil and use it on other areas. And a woman can wear a, what do you call those things? Ball guards. Whatever they're called. You know, those cups that, like, football players and stuff wear to protect their, boy, oh boy. I'll be back.
214 is that? 214. Leah has been checked and secured. The alarm has been set back on.
Oh, hi, daughter. I'm sorry. Man in his own image, the image of God, created, right? Exactly, daughter. I'm sorry. How you doing, beautiful? Boy, oh boy. Mm-mm-mm. This world is getting nuts. Crazier by the day. The world is definitely waxing cold. Very cold. I don't even think I can handle looking at the news again. Got enough unfolded in my own life. How are you doing? Are you still in back home? We were dealing with 112 degrees, and oh, it's cooler today, but it's raining, raining. Oh, we got aerial flood warnings and flash flood warnings going on. We had severe lightning warning earlier, but now my head really hurts. My blood pressure is too high right now. Get some Motrin. Actually, I don't even want to take this. Seems like every time I get real upset, I get afterwards. I get really like super tired because my blood pressure goes up so high that I just get it exhausts me. Um, I had actually calmed down and was trying to chill out, and some things escalated again. And threw my nerves all out of whack. What? Oh, I need to refocus on something. Take my mind off of other things. So much. I have control over nothing. Absolutely nothing. And pretty frustrating. Now I've been independent since I was 12. And didn't used to worry about a job because I could always get one, you know. I could earn a decent living. Oh, nice. Now I got some weird shoulder pain. Ah. I don't know where that came from. Anyway. Maybe it's related to the headache. Traveling. Hey, Glenn. How are you? You put the rainbow up on your channel? You got it sundown? Man, I'll have to look at it. Oh, you want me to share it? I can share it. It's up to you. Alright. I have some other stuff on my headache. Oh, boy. Can't even think straight. Is there much of a delay? Can you hear me now? I wonder why it's doing that. Nothing special, but the lighting was all over. Okay. Let me see. I've never done this part. Let me see if I can do it from here. Let's see. Oops. Oh, wait a minute. I meant to do this. Hold on. Alright, hold on. Let's see. I thought if I clicked on your name, maybe I gotta go over here. Go to channel. Let me see if I can open it up in another. Open a new tab. Okay. It's creepy. It's taking a minute to load. So, this one. Okay. Oh, that is pretty.
adjust it. Well, anyway, best I can do with this piece of junk camera. Sorry.
I feel you. I'd be so mad because I'd be seeing um, uh, some really interesting things that I can't. Uh, yeah, I know. It's hard for me to get accurate pictures on mine too. I'd be so mad because I'm like, man, if y'all could see what I'm seeing, because the camera doesn't capture it like it, like I'm seeing it. So is mine. 30. That's what mine is. $39 Motorola. Yeah, mine cuts off sometimes too. And mine's been acting really weird lately, or something. But everybody else's phones is acting weird lately too. So even the expensive phones are. So. But at least they take better pictures and they have more options. But that's exactly what I paid for mine. $39 at Walmart. Moto E5, not the Play. So I was trying to get the Moto Play, the Moto E Play, E5 Play, but the lady gave me the wrong one. And I was like, you know what? It's $15 cheaper, so I'll take it. Well, you could cut that part off where it tries to write things before you do. Um, it's where you can do that in the settings where it won't suggest words for you. Because what it does, most phones have it, where it remembers what you said before. Like, so if you use the word, uh, the sun had a plasma ejection today, and the next time you type the sun, it's going to automatically try to put plasma in there because that was the last, that's how you formed the sentence with, when you started it with the sun before. So if you use that word again, then it tries to put the other words back in there. So it's handy when you want to repeat what you've already said. Like when I say, may God bless you abundantly, all I got to do is say, may God, and then it automatically has the rest there, and it gives you the option to choose that or choose something else. But, so, I mean, it comes in handy, especially if you have something that you say repeatedly like I do, you know. But then when I try to say God and something else and it's trying to put that in there, I just have to not choose it, not accidentally choose it. Yeah. Yeah, that's the bad thing. Sometimes I don't check it. I don't check it before I send it, and then I'm like, oh man, I should have proofread it before I sent it. Because sometimes, what you're trying to say, people are like, huh? How does that fit with what we're talking about? And I'm like, oh, that's not what I meant to say. So yeah, I could see you saying, did you see that red beans and rice in the sky? People be like, yeah, okay. That's funny. Well, thank you. I needed to laugh. I don't think I've laughed in a week at least. More than that. At least probably 10 days. I know. You know what I used to do when I worked at the bar? Um, you know how you talking to your techs? So, like, I'd be trying to. I used to have way better phones, you know, the more expensive brands with all the fancy features and stuff. But anyway, so I was talking into my phone to send a message to someone, and it picked up all the conversations in the bar, so it would mix all these different words in. Whatever was the loudest, you know, that's what it would pick up. And then you look at it, and it looks like some drunk said nothing but gibberish. And and so I would go ahead and send them because they were funny. And I'm like, okay, this is not what I said, but I'm gonna send this because this is actually funny. Then it just got to be a sport when I do it just to see what it would come up with, and it'd be some funny stuff. Moto 5 Cruise, mine's a Moto um, E5, but it's not the Play. I wanted the Play because it's a little better, but anyway. Actually, HTC used to have a good phone. I had one of their best model phones back in the day. I usually stuck with Samsung until I had the Samsung 7, and it burnt my finger, and it burnt the wire, you know, the charger, and it didn't work anymore. And it was 15 days old, and I used to, you know, I spent a lot of money with Sprint, over 21 years with them, and I used to have 3 lines, 3 phones, and a tablet on my account. You know, my bill was almost $300 a month, and it was always, you know, I had expensive phones and tablets, and had all the features and all that stuff. Anyway, when that phone did that, and I went to the Sprint store where I bought it from, and the people that I've had, you know, been giving my money to for 21 years, and they're like, well, you can mail it back to Samsung, and then, you know, they'll give you a replacement. I said, so you want me to go 3 weeks without a phone? And I had 400 some job applications in. It was right after I had lost my job, you know, the job I had for 22 years. And so I'm trying to find a job. And I had all these applications out. And I'm like, I can't be without a phone for 3 weeks because if one of these jobs calls me and I can't answer, they'll just call the next applicant. It's not like I'm anybody special, but they're definitely going to want me for the job, so they'll, you know, wait till they hear from me. And that's how they did me. So I said, well, you know what? I will never give Sprint another dime of my money. And then I told them I spent 7 hours the first week on the phone. I spent 10 hours the second week on the phone. And like 4 hours the third week, and I finally told the lady, I said, you know what? So when I called, I said, y'all given me the runaround, and you promised me stuff, and then I get to the store, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, well, this is what your manager said, blah, blah, blah. And so I told the lady, uh, I said, look, you got one more chance, and I'm giving you 10 minutes of my time to make me a satisfied customer, or you've lost a 21-year customer. And I said, y'all could have offered me a flip phone until they repaired the phone or sent another or whatever. But you're telling me, oh, so when I went in there, the guy gave me a phone number to call Samsung. I said, can I use your phone to call them? Because I don't have a phone. That's why I'm here, because the phone burned up. He said, well, no, you can go to a friend's house or whatever. I said, so you want me to go to somebody else's house at 7, 8 o'clock at night to use their phone, to be on their phone for hours because you know I'm going to be put on hold, to call Samsung? I said, I don't pay Samsung my money. I didn't pay Samsung $800 for this phone. I paid y'all. I haven't been giving Samsung $300 a month for 21 years. Well, not 300, sometimes it was 180, depending on, how many phones I had at the time or whatever. But you know what I'm saying. I haven't been paying Samsung for 21 years of service. I've been paying y'all for 21 years. I never bought anything from Samsung. Everything I bought, I have bought from Sprint. So they get their markup, and they tie you into a contract. So anyway, yeah, he wrote the number down and told me I could go anywhere and call them. I said, oh, but you don't have a phone in the store that I can use to call them. You're telling me I've got to go ask somebody else to use their phone. He said, yeah. I said, wrong answer, buddy. So then at first I told him to cut my phone off, until the issue was resolved, because I didn't want people calling me thinking they were leaving messages that I couldn't get. And I didn't want to be charged for monthly service that I'm not getting, because the phone that I just bought from them. So anyway, Samsung gave me the runaround, and I just said, you know what? Forget both of y'all. I'll never buy another Samsung product, and everything I used to buy was Samsung. Phones, stereos, TVs, car stereos, everything. Because I used to like their product. So, anyway, it's all good, because I'm poor now. Couldn't afford Samsung anyway. And they really went down. Just took a pic on Facebook. You want to laugh? Sprint cut your phone off back in 2009 or so. Christmas execute on a Friday, and the bill was due Monday. Oh, Christmas Eve. Lord, I can't see. Monday, and they told me impossible to turn it on. So spent Christmas Eve and Saturday, Christmas, and Sunday, no phone. Wow. It wasn't impossible to turn it back on. Oh, wait. You want to hear one worse than that? Verizon, who I have now, and I like, except for this one employee they had. Um, I was at work and I had, before I went to work, I went to 7-Eleven and they always had they have these prepaid Verizon cards to load your money on your prepaid phone. So I got one of the cards, paid for it, left 7-Eleven and went to work. And I'm like 15 minutes went by and I didn't get the little notification that's supposed to pop up and say thank you. So an hour went by and I still didn't get anything. I'm like, well, that's strange. So I called Verizon. And of course, on hold, blah, blah, blah. And then, but I just put it on speaker because I was at work so I could walk around and still work. And the guy tells me that nothing was loaded on the card. I took a picture of the receipt from the store. I sent it to him. I said, well, here's the receipt where I paid for it. Here's the number on it and all that stuff. And he says, well, there's nothing I can do. It didn't load on the card. So that's a problem at the store. And he said, so you need to call them. And I told him, I said, look, I'm at work right now. I'm working by myself, so I can't leave because I'd have to lock the place up. I have to close down. And I said, I can't do that. And the guy that's working will probably be off by the time I get off work. The guy that sold it to me and was supposed to load the card. I said, so, anyway, he said, well, you're going to have to call them. I said, all right, well, let me try to call them and see what time the guy gets off and blah. As soon as I hung up from him, he cut my phone off. So I couldn't even call them. He cut my phone off instantly. The guy at Verizon did. Now, mind you, it wasn't supposed to be cut off until midnight because that's when the day ends, the time frame. So it definitely shouldn't have been off till midnight. And it usually doesn't go off then. It would go off the following day sometime. But anyway, ooh, I was hot. I was so hot. I'm like, oh, somebody's got to come cover for me because I got to go to 7-Eleven. And because I can't just lose that money, you know. I didn't have it to pay again. So I got to get this straight with the employee that did this. And so I got to 7-Eleven and the manager was there and he figured out what the problem was and they fixed it. Apparently Verizon went to a new card, a new load card. And so those load cards didn't work anymore. I said, so where's my money at? And the manager said, it's just in the air right now, really. Because, it's there. It shows that it's there, but Verizon doesn't recognize it. So it's just in the air. So he fixed it. He voided it some kind of way he could void it off the card and then put it on the new type of card that they use. So, which is stupid. But anyway, that wasn't the issue. That 7-Eleven handled it well. The Verizon guy, though. So I had to use the man's phone at 7-Eleven. Because when he shut my phone down, he shut it down to where I couldn't even contact Verizon. Because normally you could still contact them, right? I couldn't do that. I couldn't do anything. So I got a hold of a manager and I said, look, I'm not the one that complains about employees. Like if I really have an issue with an employee or how I was treated, I'll pull them to the side and let them know that, they need to tighten up their game. That I don't want to get them in trouble. I just want to let them know that they gave the worst service I ever had. And, I tell them I hope they have a better day the next day, whatever. But I'm really quick to give compliments. I go out of my way to let managers and corporations know how good an employee was. I believe in that because a lot of people will complain, but most people won't take time to compliment. So I try not to complain. And I had to complain on him. I'm like, look, he cut my phone off, so I couldn't even resolve the issue. My money's floating in the air. I've made my payment. And here's the proof, right? And I told the guy, I said, if I lose this money, then I won't be a Verizon customer anymore because I'm not going to be making payments and the payment gets lost. And, 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 and then, oh, well, I'm sorry, you just can make the payment, you can remake the payment. No, 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 no. I'm too poor for that. So anyway, he's like, well, you do what you got to do. Customers come and go. I was like, whoa. And then he cut my phone off before it was supposed to be cut off. It wasn't, he cut it off because he was, whoever he thought he was. I like to see him face to face. But anyway, um, so they listen to it. You know how the phone calls are recorded, but they don't listen to them unless there's an issue, you know. So I'm like, yeah, y'all need to listen to that. And then she's like, yeah, your phone definitely was cut off, and it was not supposed to be. I said, well, I want that taken care of because you're going to lose a lot of customers if he's the one handling the calls. Yeah, I know, customer loyalty, exactly, and that's crazy. Why do you want, the whole thing to building a business is you keep the customers you have and you gain new ones. You don't just keep losing them. I worked for someone once that didn't care. They would say that, oh, customers come and go. We lose two and we'll gain two more. And I'm like, no, no, that's not how you build business. That's how you barely get by. That's not how you build a business. You want to keep all the customers you can. Now, you can't always keep everybody because some people are just crazy. And you just, no matter what you do, you can't make them happy. Or like in the bar situation, you have somebody that's just really bad for the rest of the customers. I mean, they irritate everybody. So then you have to make a decision, if there's no other way to resolve it where you can't get the person to calm down or, see other people's point of view or be respectful of other people, then you can't keep one and lose 10. But especially if they're in the wrong anyway. But yeah, my philosophy's always been you satisfy as many of them as you can. But, there's a lot of business owners that don't get that. They really don't. Oh, we lose these, it's okay, we'll get some others. No, you don't grow that way. And in 5 years your business is folded or you're selling it out to some other company because you done lost so many and they done gained so many and they done got bigger than you so they're buying you out. Yeah, yeah, customers. Yeah, they definitely don't appreciate customers. So, when I do get customer service, hi John, how are you, awesome soldier in God's army? I bet John gives good customer service to his customers. Well, John's just a sweetheart anyway, but I know he's a smart businessman too. He stopped getting mad at the operators. Oh, I know. Most of the time, right. Right, because they're told what to, they've got this little pamphlet and they're told what to say. But this guy that I was dealing with at Verizon definitely wasn't going by the book. He had his own little attitude and he was going to do things. I don't know. Maybe he was mad at his girlfriend that day, or maybe he just doesn't like women, or who knows. But yeah, he definitely was out of order. Sprint, cut your phone. Well, okay, that could have been a mistake. You head full with employee and son. Man, let me find my reading glasses. Oh, your hands full with your employee that your son and salesman let go. Yeah. Yeah, she was here for a moment, and I don't know what happened. Well, it might have been I didn't have the volume on, and I might have missed her because I had cut the volume off to do something. And then when I looked back, I saw she had typed. So she might have thought I was ignoring her, or she just thought I stepped away and maybe she'll be back. Found out your friend told him I died. Oh, wow. That's strange. So, John, did you get any of those bad storms? Oh, you did? Okay, well, at least we know she's alive. I haven't seen her in, I don't know, one day last week, like 8 o'clock in the morning, when I was trying to do a quick thing. Last, in more than 50 years, never fired an employee. Right. Right, John. I understand exactly what you're saying. Because, yeah, you can work with most people. You know, there's always a way to get positive results out of most people. Every once in a while, someone is just crazy or, um, a bad tea, you know. I'll have it. Yeah, we had rain like forever, and then we didn't. We had all that heat. Good gracious. Let me tell you, 112 in the sun is miserable. So one of the groups that had the field hockey tournament, I guess the president, I guess they came yesterday to load up the rest of their stuff, and I guess he planned on taking it on the flight or something. He had the USA field hockey special bag, and then he had money, and he had this real expensive laptop and all this, all these other expensive electronics, and you know, and It was sitting out there in the grass, baking in the sun, and the bag itself was black, baking in the sun, 109 degrees. And I'm like, what's that bag doing there? And I saw the money first, because that's in the front thing where the little like mesh thing is, just like pocket money. You know, I'm sure he uses a card for most stuff. But anyway, so I'm trying to figure out who it belongs to. Open it up and see the laptop, and then the schedule. The schedule for the you know, the USA field hockey team schedule thing. So I'm like, oh, this is theirs. So I took a picture of it and sent it to my immediate boss, Nick, and I'm like, Nick, he's probably gonna want this really fast because, and he's got one of those little discs that you put in it. The disc itself, the little like USB storage drive. He had one of those high dollar ones, but I'm sure it's got all their, stuff that they keep track of. And I'm like, I don't know if his laptop's gonna work again. Well, the battery anyway, because my experience, if you leave a laptop in a hot car or anything, you end up having to throw the battery away and hope you don't have any other issues with the laptop. But the batteries in a laptop will definitely go bad if they get too hot. And that the whole bag was, because the bag is black and it was in 109 degrees in the sun for I don't know how many hours. I found it at 6 p.m. So I don't know how long it had been sitting out there yesterday. But I put a little note in it and told them you might want to, if you have issues with your laptop, you probably need to change the battery because it was really hot. So I took it in the office in the AC and left it in there and went and did some more stuff and came back and went to zip it up, and the laptop was still hot. So I think that battery overheated, especially if it was a lithium battery. Okay, let me read what you were typing. John, it finally rained and cooled off here. Yeah, it cooled off today. I almost wanted a coat. Now, that's sad. It was 78, 80 degrees, but I was cold. But, I was dealing with 112. So 80 degrees was cold compared. Um, he's a finished carpenter, and he said he won't have any problem finding a new job, but he was making 150 a day. It's 18.75 an hour. Hard to make in Florida. Yep, that's what I heard. Because years and years ago, I was looking at going to do a brick and block job in Florida, and they were paying a lot less because pay down here is horrible, especially for the cost of living. The cost of living and pay down here does not even come close to being doable. But they were actually paying less in Florida. But I think y'all's cost of living is less there. And I know y'all don't have personal property tax like we do. I actually don't even know because apparently I'm not scheduled back at the Plex until Saturday. Um, which, anyway. Um, I don't know if I can work uh, doing the scrapping I was doing because I was supposed to work with him today, and he gave someone else from the church the job, and he didn't even tell me. When I finally did get him on the phone, I could hear him. I could hear him hollering at the guy. So he had somebody else out there. So I don't even know if I'm doing anything with him tomorrow. So I don't know. I'll probably be here. But anyway, I can answer the phone. It seems like all this energy and the frequencies coming at the earth is definitely affecting people. You want to see Glenn's rainbow of the day? See if I can rewind it. That was Chester, Virginia.
I don't want to adjust it.
Hey Glenn, you know if you turn your phone the other way, it'll record a wider picture. It's supposed to rain here all day tomorrow. Oh, okay. Is that thunder or is that some weird plane? That was some weird sound I just heard. I just hope I don't hear some other sounds tonight. You know what I mean, John? Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in our sky, that's for sure. Yeah, I think our rain's supposed to end sometime in the morning, and then there's another chance of rain tomorrow, but everything is already overflowing. The creeks and stuff, when we went to North Carolina to pick up some scrap last week, the all the creeks and everything was flooded. I mean, up to the way over top of what they're supposed to be. And I said then, man, some heavy rain is just gonna flood out all these roads because everything is so inundated with rain. We got areas of ground that haven't dried in a year and a half. I know I had an eye infection for over a week, and then some bug or something. I'm assuming it was a bug flew into my eye because all of a sudden it it was so painful and it was burning so bad, like somebody had poured rubbing alcohol in it. And I felt like something hit it, so I figured it was some kind of bug. But then it made it worse, and I couldn't see straight. And you talk about rainbows. I was seeing double halo rainbows around the stadium lights and stuff. And at first I thought, wow, there must be some thick chemicals in the air to do that. And then I closed that eye, and they were gone. So I was like, uh-oh, that means my vision is messed up. I think it's no better now. I don't know. I'd have to, look at a bright light and see if I still see that. But it was It was weird. And it kept, it had an infection in it. I think it's better now. Well, I still got the ear infection and the sinus infection. I don't think that's going to get better anymore. I think we're stuck with it. 'Cause we're breathing in all kinds of stuff. CJ caught a cold last week, Monday at therapy. As long as he's here, no germs, he's okay. Yeah, yeah, that always worries me about youngins, getting around other kids. And definitely, one kid comes to school sick, and then your kid gets sick, and then they come home, they get well, and then they go back, and by then some other kids done got it, some other kids done got it, and it keeps going around. But they claim you can't catch the same cold twice. But flu, I guess it's a different strand each time, too. So each time you catch one, it's a different thing. But that flesh-eating skin disease, a lot of people in Florida were getting that. And now it's in the beaches here. They had a woman on the news last week that had it from Ocean View. And now we have sea lice, which I've never heard of in my whole life. And I've asked other people in their 60s and 70s around here that have been here their whole life. They're like, yeah, no, I never heard of sea lice. I said, yeah, me neither. They're talking about it like it's something that always happens, and we're like, no, not here. Never heard of it anywhere. But now we have sea lice because the water is warmer than normal and blah, blah, blah. And the fourth angel poured out the vial on the sun, and there was a star called Wormwood, and it made a third of the waters bitter, and it made a third of the man sick. Yeah, he did get quiet, didn't he? Oh, Glenn, are you still here? Glenn? I don't think it's buffering, is it? It was buffering so bad I couldn't do a show. I couldn't get a ride home. It's buffering a little bit, but at least it's not like it was doing before. Chanting was to be catching a common cold, yeah. Oh, no, no, you didn't run Glenn off. Not at all. He either got booted, or the connection, because we've got a lot of rain and wind. People's internet's been acting up everywhere, and then, like I said, there's a lot of energy coming at the earth, and it's affecting everything. And then we know we got countries that want to wipe out, they want to cause a major EMP here. And if they do, See, if they caused a major EMP and they were able to shut down the radars and all that, then we couldn't detect incoming missiles and incoming planes and warheads and all of that. So I think that's part of the purpose of 5G and some of this other stuff going on, which they're not going to announce. It looks like it's buffering. They're not going to announce that to us. Oh, our power went completely out here. Only for a minute, but it went out. But, yeah, I actually wasn't feeling tired till I got real upset a little while ago. And anytime my blood pressure goes like really high, even if it's only for a few minutes, after that, it wipes me out completely. I mean, I can be full of energy and wide awake and everything else, but just something about that, it completely takes me for another loop. I've had a stressful, hard 94-hour in the heat, in the heat, in the heat, in the heat, in the heat. 8 days, but there's a video about Iran having sleeper cells here. Well, you know they do. We have the we have spies all over the world. They have spies, and they have sure. Every country has some people here. Every enemy country has people here that have integrated into our society, and they're maintaining a front until whatever purpose they have in them. And then we have them in other countries as well. We have the same thing. We have spies, and we have uh, silent assassins. That's the game, the war game they play. The men in power. Oh yes. I don't know how much. Oh, guarantee you, sleeper cells. Um, if they're known about, they'd be gone. You know, dead, whatever, tortured till they told, whatever. Yeah, but the sleeper cells they have here, the only way they could really do something is if they could cause EMPs and knock out radar and all the other stuff that the military uses for defense and offense. And they couldn't do that on their own. They would have to have help of China and Russia and that. Which doesn't mean they don't. It doesn't mean that's not a master plan. But if all that happens, then we know exactly where we are biblically. Yeah, when they took that other tanker, you know, knowing the UK is an ally, yeah, I told my boss about it yesterday when I heard it. I said, well, they took another UK tanker, so they're pushing for war. We all know it, you know. So we'll either secretly do some covert action, and this will all. Uh, see, the thing is, Big Brother's always watching and listening. So if they have sleeper cells here that they have to contact, that 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 contact will be heard, and they will be located. And so, there's a benefit to Big Brother when it comes to your national security. I don't know, but they're definitely getting bold, But we know that World War III is inevitable. We know what Scripture says. So, I mean, it'd be nice if none of it happened for a long time, but yeah, I saw that. Well, I didn't see the video. I heard it on the news. Uh, one side claims we did, and the other side claims we didn't. The interesting thing, though, is that Russia, many years ago, sent off a satellite with 65 feet, a mirror on it, and they claim it was so that they could create sunlight in places that don't have sunlight, so like they could sell it, the technology, once they made it big enough, to places that didn't have sunlight, and then and even their own parts of the Siberia, wherever over there they don't have a lot of sun, that they could create sunlight. And this documentary was talking about, yeah, that's true, but it only take a couple of changes to make it a weapon, and they could easily make it 1,000 feet long, wide in diameter, circumference, and weaponize it, and like take the sunlight and focus it into a tiny beam so that it's stronger and burn something. And yeah. So this is the thing with technology now. They have gotten so crazy with it that any country can just about do anything to any other country. And so the goal now is to wipe out their electronics. So if they can wipe out your EMP, if they can wipe you out with an EMP, then they've got the upper hand as long as theirs is working. Because then your radar can't detect anything, and half your stuff that you've designed that depends on electronics and uh, um, all this other stuff won't work. And so you basically defenseless while they can do. So that's the ugly um, technology weaponized war we're in. And NASA wasn't hiring people for cloud warfare for nothing. But you also got to think they didn't hire an alien ambassador for nothing either. And Obama didn't enact the two um, executive orders that he did right before he left office for no reason either. We know what's coming. And, I mean, we see the signs, and the sun, the moon, and the stars, and the earthquakes, and the volcanoes, and the seas, and land appearing and disappearing, and the red waters, and the fish washing up dead everywhere, and the birds falling dead out of the sky, and thousands of cattle falling over dead from a lightning strike, and yeah, I haven't even got to the lightning, but we we see all this stuff, and then we see the technology that man's got now, and the waxing cold of most humans, and the good being called evil and evil being called good. I mean, Scripture is playing out verbatim, and so nothing at this point should shock us. It's it's uh, it's definitely scary times. Listen, we are so much more advanced. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but we're advanced, but China and Russia ain't no joke when it comes to the uh, the advancements they've been making. We can't sell them short. So, we have some enemies that definitely, have made big strides in technology. But there's nothing nobody does that we don't know about, that's for sure. But we got a bigger threat than them. We got Satan and that spiritual war to go through. Oh yeah, see, you just typed it. Yes, we're in a spiritual warfare. No, but most of the technology. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's looking pretty ugly right now. So I don't know what's gonna happen with Iran. The Euphrates River is drying up, and Scripture talks about that. So what I'm watching for is all these people going against that little teeny weeny country that has miraculously survived with all its enemies around it. Okay, John, you have a blessed night. God loves you, and so do I. And your beautiful wife, Diana, and CJ, and the rest of your family. Hope Glenn didn't put himself in timeout. I think somebody else did that. I remember I saw it on the question board for YouTube one time. Some guy timed himself out or blocked himself, and he couldn't undo it. And they were asking how could he undo it. I don't know what the answer was, because I didn't see one at the time. Uh, I hope that's not what happened. He might have been playing with his new wrench and accidentally uh, timed himself out or something. I would think it would show up, because usually the stuff will show up in red to me. That tiny country has the U.S. backing, right? It got God's backing, you know? Yeah, I like Glenn too. Have you talked to Casey lately? I don't think we talked since that night we had that good laugh uh, about, how did she say it? Flipping the clothes. Yep, yep, we have. Absolutely. Do away with the Bible, do away with prayer, but pass all these laws that make everything morally horrible legal. Killing babies. And I don't even want to get into the other stuff. But good is being called evil, and evil is being called good. If you defend the right for the babies, then you're, you know, against the woman's right to choose what to do with her own body, but nobody's choosing the right of that baby's body. Ah, gracious. So I'll try to listen to some gospel and try to go to sleep. I couldn't listen to my gospel the last 5 days. God bless the woman with a baby, and she should have it full term. Yes, I know. That's why I said people should definitely be lining up at the abortion clinics, offering these ladies. I'm being gender specific. Oh, I shouldn't say ladies. You heard about that, right? Where you're not gonna be able to say manhole or manpower or he, she, he, she, her, him, boy, girl, female, male, woman, man. But manhole, really? They're gonna change the name of manhole to maintenance hole. Alright, John, God bless you. Yeah, it is crazy. Yeah, they're gonna spend millions of dollars and all this time to change what's written. Because this is citywide, like California. This is all their city stuff they've got to change. So they got to go in and change their programs and everything that has those words. They got to spend all this money and time focusing on something that's stupid. Because fine, you choose any gender you want to be, but don't tell us we got to get rid of the words that separate gender. Just because you want to be transgender, fine, be transgender. But now we have to be no gender because of you? Bullcrap. So a few 100,000 are changing the rules for billions of people because they chose not to be happy with the sex they were born with. Fine. But don't tell us now we can't have our gender. So ridiculous. They're going to change the word human because it's got man in it. So we won't be able to say human no more. They're going to have to change feminine products because that's gender specific. They're going to have to change the word woman, whoa, man. Oh, that's right. It's not going to be allowed to be used anyway, but human can't be used because it's got man in it. So we'll just call everybody Hugh. Might as well just call everybody it. And next thing you know, they'll be making all women cut off their breasts. So, we're not gender specific. Well, let's make all the men cut off their things so they're not gender specific because these transgender people don't want anybody to have a gender except them, whichever operation they get to be whatever, but us to choose to stay as what we were born as, we're the bad guys. That's crazy. Who's fighting for our rights? As Christians. Man, and there's so much that happened this past week I haven't even been able to cover yet. Um, um, multiple wildfires in south central Washington, northeast Oregon. Said there's a bunch of thunderstorms with little rain but a lot of lightning, sparking fires, power incident, power lines arcing in Elko County, Nevada. Third alarm fire in Quebec, Canada. Multiple brush fires in Hawaii. High-speed pursuit on foot. Manhunt. Vehicle KO'd half a mile east. Air unit en route. Whoa, 160 miles per hour. Wow. This was in Ellis County, Canada. This guy it was a high-speed pursuit in progress on I-70 ED at mile marker 194. Speeds approaching 160 miles per hour. ESCO and RCSO involved. Air unit en route. KHPD event activated. Was only 140 miles per hour. And it went up to 170 miles per hour. And then, apparently, he wrecked. Vehicle KO'd, so I imagine that means it wrecked. Half a mile east. Now a foot pursuit and manhunt. I hear that strange plane again. Strange sound of thunder out there. Can't really tell which one. With the window closed. Oh. Oh, wow. Steuben County Sheriff Police, LaRange, DeKalb, Hillsdale Fire Branch. This is sad. Vehicle crash on Indiana Toll Road, I-140 or I-48, westbound, involving a trooper. Trooper trapped. One other deceased and 3 others injured. Oh, we gotta pray for those, and for the families of the deceased, and for the trooper that's trapped, and the other injured people. That must have been, well, didn't have to be a chase. Could have just been a bad accident, and trooper happened to be one of the cars involved. That's sad. Mm. There was a chase the other day, and they were, I think that was the one in New York. They were backing off because the speeds had gotten so dangerous. So they were ordered to back off. I mean, eventually they got the guy, because the radio works, and so do helicopters. All they got to do is back off, let the person think they're getting away. I don't know how they could think that with helicopters over top, but anyway. Road rage is getting out of control, too. And Australia had a big prison riot, but at least they were letting the EMT workers to get the injured out. There was another cop shooting today, and the other officers were trying to get to the cop that was shot, and the shooter kept shooting at them so that they couldn't, get to the cop they were trying to rescue, and I think he died, or she, may have been she. Anyway, I don't know the outcome of that, because it wasn't on the news, it was just on my police scanner. It hadn't made the news yet. Alright, so there's a warning for Indiana and Washington, Spokane, Stevens, and Cotina, whatever it is. And nothing in the hour, that's good. Let's look at this crazy thing. Definitely over the Sun area. The beaming. I see a few other strange things up here. We'll just watch them and see what they manifest into. Aw. That happened to one of my customers. When I worked at the bar, his nephew was a cage fighter, where they did kickboxing and, all kinds of fighting techniques. Well, he got hit in the head, and they didn't do an MRI, and they let him fight again the next night, and he got hit in the head again, and it killed him because he had swelling on the brain from the injury from the night before, and because they didn't do an MRI to make sure he didn't have a concussion, which he had, and he got another injury, it killed him. 23 years old. So those head injuries are no joke. So this guy probably already had a head injury. Let's see what it says, because normally when that happens, they already had a head injury that they hadn't recovered from. Fight welterweight fight. Receives treatment after 11th round on the world title elimination fight. He was 28. Brain swelling shortly after the fight, which was stopped by his corner following the 11th round after he took numerous shots to the head. Footage from the fight shows he was shaking his head in the corner as his trainer pleads with him to stop the fight, telling him, "You're getting hit too much. Please, let me do this." And Max was saying no. Shortly after the referee stopped the bout, at McGirt's request, both fighters were 13-0 before the bout, which offered the winner the right to challenge IBF title holder Josh Taylor. Hmm. I want to watch this one. This judge, apparently the judge got sentenced and dragged out the courtroom. Courtroom chaos. Video shows judge dragged away after her own sentencing. Tracy Hunter, convicted of using her position to help family members, or to help a family member, was ordered to be taken into custody, which sparked outrage from supporters. Ohio courtroom. Hey, come back here.
If you have mild to moderate eczema, there's Eucrisa. It's a prescription ointment
Well, I don't have to watch
for
it.
ages 2 and up.
Yeah.
Steroid-free. It works both at and below the skin surface, blocking overactive PDE4 enzymes within your skin.
Okay, that's
Do not use if you are allergic to Eucrisa or its ingredients.
Get
Allergic
bad.
reactions may occur at or near the application site. The most common side effect is application site pain. Want to save on Eucrisa? Eligible patients may pay as little as $10 per prescription. Ask your doctor about steroid-free Eucrisa.
You are to do 6 months in the Hamilton County Justice Center, credit 1 day. Mr. or Ms. Deputy can take her away.
Well, they didn't give us much about the case. I don't know. That was crazy. There was a judge, a female judge. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that. Um, I think she was in Florida. I might be wrong. But she had been arrested for DUI, and she had probation, and she wasn't allowed to drink. Well, apparently, she'd been drinking and driving again, and she couldn't understand why she had to do time. Well, she was treated like, other people that get caught drinking and driving. She thought she was supposed to be special. Anyway. Oh, hey, Rose. Okay, sweetheart. I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at the room. When I look at these, when I share these screens, I can't see the room unless I pull it up on my phone. And I didn't, because I was looking at other stuff on the phone. New warning for, anyway, yeah, cut that off. I'm getting ready. I think I'm going to go to sleep. I'm tired, worn out. What how Spencer's doing. He was in here the other night, but I wasn't at a good location, so it kept buffering. I think I'm gonna call it a night. Still can listen to some gospel I haven't been able to listen to because I didn't have a good connection. Man, that cup of coffee was so good. I waited 5 days for that. Hopefully, everyone will rest well tonight. And may we all be blessed to wake up with a better day tomorrow. With some of the stressors removed and the negativity and all the other stuff going on. May we be blessed to be able to bless others. That would be awesome. Ah. Mm-mm-mm. Ah. Ah. Ouch. Forgive me, I'll be right back. Oh boy. Well, I thought it was maybe not. I'm sorry, I had stepped away. I had I had to find something I could sleep in that if I had to jump up in the middle of the night and run out, uh, I could run in the street with this on. Don't want to be out there in night clothes. Because some emergency situation. With my, whatchamacallit? Oh boy. Are you still with me, Rose? Oh, darn it. Alright, let me see what preacher I want to listen to. I think I'm too tired to cover anything else.
The Alvarez team calculated that the asteroid was almost 7 miles wide.
Yeah, alright.
Traveling at over 40,000 miles an hour, it exploded with the energy of billions of atomic bombs. As molten debris, fire, and smoke enveloped the planet, nearly 75% of all known species were wiped out. It was the first compelling theory for how the dinosaurs died.
Yeah. Okay. That's what you say. But Yeah, I think I need to go to sleep. My brain ain't functioning too well right now. Um, oh, okay. Yeah, I sure hope things calm down with the neighbors. Well, prayers for everyone. May God bless you all abundantly. Prayers for the whole world. I can't find what I'm looking for. My brain's in a million places. I'm sorry, y'all. Maybe it'll be a happier, active show tomorrow evening. I don't know. If not, maybe I'll just start doing like others and just doing videos and uploading them. And not, as we're not getting the, I don't know, when God's patience run out, that would be a good one. Uh, 80,000 people with no power in Michigan. Yeah. Oh, that'll be interesting. We'll watch tomorrow. Ah, gracious. 80,000 aftershocks and counting. Magma rising. Do you have angels in your home? I wish I could use an angel.
We're going to be talking about angels. I know that all of you believe in angels. Let's look at Hebrews 1:13.
Hey, where did the room go?
1:14, excuse me. And we see that angels,
We'll cover this tomorrow.
right in the word, are they not all ministering spirits sent out for
Bless
the
y'all.
sake of those who are to inherit salvation? That's who angels
May
are.
tomorrow be a better
Now, we
day
also know
for everyone.
that